Hello everyone. Got a hell of a video for you today. Uh, YouTube shadow banned my last video, which was an experiment. I called it The Matrix, or Women Are the Matrix. Of course, that in Latin, the Matrix is Latin for a woman. So And, it was a lot of red pill as usual, right, on my channel. But zero views in 3 days, whatever. Uh, there was a video that kept showing up on my feed, my recommended videos, about how the patriarchy, brainwashes women. So I reported it because, if you're going to ban hate speech against women, then you need to ban hate speech against men. And, so I said, if you're going to ban manosphere, if you're going to ban red pill, then you got to ban extremist feminism. But apparently, YouTube is a liberal channel. And they're just like Disney or, any other liberal media. They're promoting a feminist agenda. I have no problem with, women's rights. But when you start men hating, then that's a problem. Now, when we talk about the results of scientific research pointing at mothers, devouring mothers, causing narcissistic abuse, complex PTSD, feminizing men, effeminating men, feminizing? I don't know. Domesticating men. Oh, well, that's, hate speech against women. And that's what, and we can't speak out against women. It's not allowed because they're narcissists. And narcissists cannot tolerate criticism, shame, guilt. They can't admit fault. They can't take responsibility. And they certainly don't care about anyone but themselves. So what kind of mother is this? What kind of lover is this? So you have the childish, infantile woman with arrested development who domesticates a man in order to meet her narcissistic needs. And as a mother, she infantilizes the child in order to meet her needs for intimacy. And that's every episode of The Super Nanny. So we have a culture that has become a, a neonatal unit for women that are so infantilized, so infantile. And men are forced to live in this. Men who are not meant to be domesticated are forced by the church and the state and by the alternate reality created by narcissistic women to be babysitters, basically. And so this is where you get Fight Club. Like, men have been completely emasculated. What's the solution? Give it all up and fight each other, you know? And if you, like me, which I doubt you will do, because you're just not me, chose to escape the matrix, the mother, the female, and you just said, fuck it all, I am heading out. I'm going to give it all up and let it all go. And I'm just going to head out and adventure into the world, which I did for 5 years. What you will encounter, just like in the Matrix, you will encounter the agents. And everyone is an agent. People will call the police on you. If you're just minding your own business, sitting on a bench, the police will come. Vagrancy laws, which were supposed to have been eradicated in, I believe, 1978. Well, so much for that. You're not allowed to sit on a bench and mind your own business. You're not allowed to camp. You're not allowed to sleep. So let's say that you're like me and you realize that we live in this giant daycare center where you're being raised in captivity and you want to escape. And this daycare center isn't for children, it's for women who are children. And they're going to exploit men as if they are a breast to feed upon. Okay, a wallet, a bank account. To meet their narcissistic needs. All right, you want to escape. You go out and you try to escape civilization, but everywhere you try to find nature, you see a no trespassing sign. Violators will be prosecuted to the extent of the law. And you can't go out into the wilderness. So you sit down on a bench and you look behind you, and there's a sign on the wall that says, no trespassing, no loitering. And you find yourself just buying groceries. You can't hunt, you can't gather. That would be illegal. So you're just living like everyone else. You're trying to find shelter from the rain. And you're trying to feed yourself. But what you end up doing is just getting food stamps and buying groceries. And so it's like in the Matrix when you escape, the womb of society and the apartment and the cubicle, and you go out and you try to live in the natural world, so that you can develop yourself, which is how animals develop, because you don't develop in captivity. But what you find in our world is that there is no natural world left. And if you do find some nature, it's a tourist attraction, and you have to pay for that. And you better not be trying to camp or, because here come the neighbors and here come the police, and they'll, put a sign on your tent saying you have 24 hours to pack up and leave, or you'll be arrested and taken to jail. So everyone can be an agent of the system. They're not ready to be unplugged because they're hopelessly dependent. This is Morpheus, right? They're hopelessly dependent upon that system, and they will fight to protect it. And anybody watching this video probably agrees with that they don't want some homeless person camping in their neighborhood. I'm just saying that if you were to try to break free, this is what you would encounter. Is the average person would call the police on you. And I've had the police called on me so many times I can't even count. But that's what it took. 5 years of attempting to live in nature, attempting to live outside, which ended up causing me physical, medical issues, because the cars are polluting the air with carbon monoxide, and that gave me medical problems. So I know you're just trying to go to work, be socially acceptable. I know you're just trying to get admiration, and acceptance from society, and you're just trying to fit in and be normal, but every time you drive that car, you are killing people. That makes you a murderer and a sadist and incredibly selfish and self-centered. And you probably don't want to hear that, but it's true. And if you want to awaken from the matrix, you need to wake up and be willing to recognize the truth. And what you probably won't. You probably already stopped the video because you can't handle the truth. You can't take responsibility, and you can't admit fault. Um, so, because you're a narcissist. And that's what domesticated animals are. Um, because they have arrested development. They were born and raised in captivity and didn't ever, hatch into their natural environment. So their brain didn't develop. Well, they also weren't given the right maternal care. So that's what's going on with us, right? Our mothers are at work, or they're on their phones, or watching TV, or whatever it is, but we don't receive the right maternal care. Plus, our mothers can't even access their empathy and compassion and the ability to love because those parts of the brain are shut down. They didn't develop because they didn't receive the right maternal care. So, and they have complex PTSD. So this is where you get the refrigerator mother, or in the Matrix, we're all raised by machines. We're not even raised, really. We're just incubated by machines because our mothers can't love. They're cold, heartless, sadistic, and obsessive compulsive. So they're neurotic. So they're very, machine-like, just conforming and doing what they're told, and not interested in meeting the baby's needs, because the baby's needs are to be cared for 24/7, night and day. I mean, think about all the songs on the radio about, I want to be with you all night long. Girl, I want to be with you all of the time, all day, and all of the night. The only time I feel alright is when by your side. Okay, that's the baby. But good luck with that. So our needs aren't being met. We have arrested development. We have narcissism, borderline personality disorder, emotional dysregulation. So that's why our children throw temper tantrums, because they have borderline personality disorder. That does not occur in tribal peoples because their mothers are caring for them properly. So they don't develop emotional dysregulation. I don't know. I guess that's it for now. Something to think about. Thanks for watching. Blah, blah, blah.